Satish Misra ji.
Thank you, Vice Chairman, sir. My party leader, Sushri Mayawati ji, has again and again a number of times answered this query raised to her by media, even yesterday, that whether the party, her party is going to support GST or not. And she has said in affirmative. But while saying so, and I thank her that she has given opportunity to me to be in the select committee earlier and now to speak today on this issue. But at the same time, she had also said that we will give our suggestions, we'll seek certain clarifications on certain issues which we feel required to be clarified, and I'm sure those clarifications would definitely be coming up. Now, this GST has been welcomed by us, and we are welcoming it today also. But at the same time, we have to see that GST, we have to keep in mind the federal structure also in consideration, and whether this in any manner is going to affect the federal structure and how to overcome it. Now, in this is a constitutional amendment. Now, after that, there will be a bill. This constitutional amendment is simply giving a power, amending the constitution to give a power to the center as well as the states, the parliament as well as the state legislatures, to frame laws with respect to GST. This is not itself a law which is taking care of everything. Now, we have to keep into mind that different states have different issues of certain natures. Now, for example, if we take Uttar Pradesh, वहाँ बनारस में जो हमारे कारीगर हैं वो एक काम करते हैं, हमारे पीतल के कारीगर हैं, दूसरी जगह पर ज़िले में हैं, लखनऊ में चिकन का काम होता है, वो कारीगर हैं। इस तरह की बहुत सी एक्टिविटीज़ हैं जो अलग अलग स्टेट्स में, और जो एक गरीब तबके के लोग, मिडिल तबके के लोग, नीचे तबके के लोग जो 90% में पूरे देश में आते हैं, वो लोग करते हैं। और उनके संबंध में या उनको उत्साहित करने के लिए एक स्टेट के लॉज बनते हैं, अलग अलग स्टेट्स में इस तरीके से है, जो कि उनको टैक्स में बेनिफिट देने के लिए कि अगर सेल्स टैक्स लग रहा था तो एक ट्रेड टैक्स लगता था, तो उनके में कम लगे और दूसरी चीज़ में ज़्यादा लगे, जो कि दे सकते हैं। लेकिन अब जब ये कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अमेंडमेंट के बाद इसमें जो प्रोविज़न किया गया है, इसमें कहा गया है कि गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज टैक्स काउंसिल बनेगी। गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज काउंसिल हैज़ बीन गिवन वाइड पावर्स. It has been given the power that it will in fact decide the capping. It will decide what would be the minimum, what would be the maximum. It will not only decide about the maximum, it will also decide about the minimum. So therefore, the power of the state in respect to various items which the state used to make the laws on its own, changing it according to the requirements of the state and of the persons concerned, that different state is taken away, and now it goes through the State Council. Now it will be submitted, it has been submitted that goods and service tax, this council has the representatives of the states, and therefore they will have a chance to say. But there is an issue, there can be a point, there can be a reason where one state only has an issue. Other states don't have those issues. What will be the situation there? There will be only one vote. There will be only one state which will be speaking in the council saying that kindly look into this capping, fix this amount, but the other states are not agreeable because it will go as a general. So will this be taken care of? If this is not going to be taken care of, it will create problems in various manners, and that is where I am saying that the federal structure would be affected, and the poor people, the people of that particular works in the different states will get affected. How this will be met is to be considered, because the council, the constitution of the council says that it will be 75, it says that 75% power would be with the state representatives and 25% with the, I'm sorry, it says that with 75% and above, it will be passed. Now for garnering 75% votes, it is not easy for one particular state. if it is a matter concerning only with respect to that state. So therefore, this issue has to be looked into from that angle also. Besides that, it says that there will be 1/3 votes would be of the center and 2/3 will be of the state. Now, is this not giving a complete veto power when it has to be negated by the center in any manner? Again, a federal structure question arises, because if it is 1/3 power is with the central government, that is 33.33%. This I had raised in the select committee also. And now remaining 66.6% is with the state governments. 75% is the requirement for passing in the council. Now, if 33.3% says no to a particular thing, it is no. And therefore, it will be a complete veto to all the states get together, becoming together. So therefore, this aspect, I would like definitely that it may be looked into and clarified so that our doubts may be cleared on this aspect. Now, the second aspect which was raised and which has already been submitted today, that the GST, since its constitution, the capping, etc., all powers have been given to the council. The council will come through the act. Now, this should not, why it should be only under this house, the upper house should also have the power to not only debate but also to vote on it, is also, if we look into the act itself, which is the amending act of the constitution, this itself says in section 2, which while amending 246A, it says that notwithstanding anything contained in Article 246 and 254, Parliament and subject to clause 2 of the legislature of every state have power to make laws. Now, it is not only the Parliament which will make laws, the states will also make laws with respect to the GST, and therefore, if the Parliament is making law, this law will decide all these aspects which have been mentioned in the GST Council. This should be brought into the House and got voted and debated, not only like it should be therefore not a money bill, it should be a finance bill. Secondly, if you'll say, I'll sit down. But if you'll allow 2 or 3 minutes more, I will speak.
In 2 minutes, please. 2 minutes.
अगर बोलने देंगे तो
ठीक है ना? I am allowing to conclude, please.
Conclude ही कर रहे हैं. ज़्यादा समय नहीं ले.
Okay.
ज़्यादा समय नहीं ले.
Please.
Now, under Article 279A3, the amendment which is being brought is that this council will select amongst themselves a vice chairman. My suggestion is that vice chairman selection, there should be a procedure that at least the vice chairman should be of a party which is not in power in the center, so that at least there will be some say with respect to the parties of in respective states which are not having their say in the center. They may at least raise their voice and bring that.
Every state will have the same party as the state. They are envisaging.
Now, there is only 2 things I will say now. One is with respect to the special provisions for some states. There has been, in the amendment, certain states have been named. And it has said that this council, in the constitutional amendment, they have brought it, that this council, with respect to these states, can create certain special provisions beyond which will be otherwise generally applicable. My party feels that while fixing this limit onto these particular states would not be advisable and would not be proper, because there may be other states which have been left out, like Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh, and also Bundelkhand in UP, which are much more backward with respect to the various matters, and they need more concessions. And therefore, if you are specifying only specific states, they will never get this chance of being considered. Now, the last thing which I would say is, and which I would definitely, because there are law experts over here, and the Honorable Finance Minister is himself a very constitutional expert. I would just like to bring to the notice of a provision which has been brought here, whether it would be a constitutional provision or it would be an unconstitutional provision, and that is giving the power to the President to amend or modify. If I would just read those 2 lines, Section 21 of this Act says, if any difficulty arises in giving effect to the provisions of the Constitution as amended by this Act, including any difficulty in relation to the transition from the provisions of the Constitution as they stood immediately before the date of assent of the President to this Act, to the provisions of the Constitution as amended by this Act, the President may, by order, make such provisions, including in any adaptation or modification of any provision of the Constitution as amended by this Act. Now, Article 368 gives the power under which this constitutional amendment today is also being discussed and is being brought, for giving the power how the Constitution can be amended and who can amend. The Constitution procedure has been laid down in Article 368. It can be done only by the Parliament, and that too the other detailed procedure has been given, and then it will go to the states, and then the amendment takes place. Now, can this amendment, which is being brought today in the Constitution, have a provision that the President by an order can modify and amend the Constitution? I would like to know from the Honorable Finance Minister whether this provision is constitutional, or this can be said to be, or this would be totally unconstitutional and against Article 368. And with this, I conclude my submissions, once again saying that we are supporting this bill with the hope, इस उम्मीद के साथ में कि इस बिल के आने के बाद जो 90% जनता है, 90 से ऊपर 95 तक की गरीब जनता है इस देश की, और जो लोग इस बिल की तरफ इस उम्मीद से देख रहे हैं, जो उम्मीद आपने बांधी है कि इस बिल के आते ही इस देश में एकदम से सुधार हो जाएगा, लोगों का गरीबी दूर हो जाएगी, चीज़ें कीमत कम हो जाएगी, ऐसा ना हो कि ये उसी तरह के वादे हो जाएं जो वादे पिछले 2 साल से हम लोग सुनते आ रहे हैं, गरीब जनता इस देश की सुनती आ रही है और आज तक पूरे नहीं हो पाए हैं। इसका भी असर कहीं वैसा ना हो, इसको कहते हुए मैं अपनी बात ये समाप्त करता हूँ। थैंक यू।